Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today is my November book haul. These are all of the books that I have purchased in November. A bit of a catch because I did go over my limit. I do limit my book buying. So those books are being pushed aside and I can't have them until December 1st or Christmas, whatever my dad decides. I'm like, I have to wait. Have to wait. Nonfiction was the genre that I focused on most in November, but with my buying, it's a wild array of books, but let's see what I got. The first book I actually got for free at one of my favorite little free libraries, the one at Briggs Elementary where the goats are. I love them. This is a book that has been extremely popular my whole time on the book side of the internet. Actually, today is my 13th anniversary of being on YouTube. I had started by making fashion videos, and here I am 13 years later making book videos. But since I've been making book videos, this book has been everywhere. I think this author is, people love her or they hate her. It's a good thing I got it for free. Because when there's those kind of books where I am intimidated, I am scared of the hype, I'm unsure about them, that's what I look for at the little free libraries, because I don't want to spend my hard-earned money on that. The book that I'm talking about is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I am so intimidated by this, and I've always loved these covers. I think these are like the older covers. Oh, this is actually a European edition on the back. It has the pound, or not the pound, the euro. Didn't expect that. I don't even really know what this is about. I know people call it romantasy, but this was around before people were saying romantasy. I think it is like with the trials and everything, because fantasy books, they love to have their trials. Is this where I start even with this series? I don't know. I'm really confused. This was published in 2015. Fair is a huntress. She thinks nothing of slaughtering a wolf to capture its prey, but like all mortals, she fears what lingers mercilessly beyond the forest, and she will learn that taking the life of a magical creature comes at a high price, so she must find a way to break a spell or lose her heart forever. I don't know, that's where you start now. Kind of nervous, but I did go to Barnes & Noble and I was focusing on buying the highest rated nonfiction books on my to-buy list according to Goodreads. The nonfiction sort at Barnes & Noble, I have such a hard time finding things. I've talked about it in several videos, so I'm not going to go into it again. I could only find 2 on that list, and I was allowed to buy 3 books. So the first one I found was King, A Life by Jonathan Eigg. This was winner of the Pulitzer Prize, and this is a biography on Martin Luther King Jr., one of the most influential figures in the last century. I think we all know him. So this is just going into his life. It's a landmark biography. He gives us a king for our times, a deep thinker, a brilliant strategist, and a committed radical who led one of history's greatest movements and whose demands for racial and economic justice remain as urgent today as they were in his lifetime. This one that I was able to find is, I actually got this before the release date. Kind of crazy, and I know this was on a lot of people's books they're excited for the year, and James Patterson even has a blurb on the front. I don't read James Patterson, but I know a lot of people love him. This is Black Owned, The Revolutionary Life of the Black Bookstore by Char Adams. This one, I mean, again, when nonfiction titles are pretty self-explanatory, but longtime NBC News reporter Char Adams writes a deeply compelling and rigorously reported history of Black political movements told through the lens of Black-owned bookstores, which have been centers of organizing from abolition to the civil rights movement to Black Lives Matter. As I said, I could only find 2 on the list, so I was just like, I'm going to Wild and find one that just sounds interesting to me. So as those are more like race-centered, one I think a biography, and the other, what section did I even find that in? I don't know. But this one is more of a science nature one, and that is Horses, a 4,000-year genetic journey across the world by Ludovic Orlando. I'm a horse girly. I've never even ridden a horse, but I've always loved horses. This one says, from one of today's leading experts on ancient DNA, a sweeping genetic history that unravels the mystery of where horses were first domesticated. I mean, think of the impact horses have had on the world. Like, it's crazy. to think about all the places horses have been and all the things they have done. Let's look at some online orders that I have placed. I only got one book at Book of the Month this month, and the other is one that I would have thought in the past they would have had at Book of the Month. Book of the Month used to have all the excited new releases, and now today it says not. Yeah, it's just this year maybe it hasn't been a great year for new releases. I don't know, but I got this book, which is called Lightbreakers by Asia Gable. I do really like this cover. I do love the shade of yellow. This is a science fiction, and it says, "What would you give to relive the past?" A heart-achingly moving novel, Lightbreakers plumbs the mysteries of human connection and explores how to love in a world where time is both a healer and a thief. Ooh. That's hitting. That is hitting. The next one is one I kept seeing with memoirs. I always will see, you know, little snippets all over the internet, and I think this is a really important one, especially with everything that is happening right now. And that is Nobody's Girl, a memoir of surviving abuse and fighting for justice by Virginia Roberts Giuffre. I might be mispronouncing her last name. This is the unforgettable memoir by the late Virginia Roberts Giuffre, the woman who dared to take on Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, here's where my book spending got kind of crazy this month, because I went on a bookish trip over to Columbia, South Carolina. I first went to a used bookstore, Ed's Editions. I got 2 books there. The first being Romulus, The Legend of Rome's Founding Father by Mark Haydn. I watched a show called Romulus on Tubi, and it was like about the founding of Rome. I didn't finish it. I get sidetracked. I'm awful at watching TV. And this is just going into the legend of Romulus. And it was published in 2020, because usually when I go to these used bookstores and find these ancient Rome books, they're published in like the 70s. So to see a newer take, I think should be some fun. The other one that I got is one, this subject is very like niche, I never know which way you say that word. And it's one that I never thought I would find a book on in person, and I'm super excited because the society really fascinates me. It stems from when I read The Chalice and the Blade earlier this year. I'm talking about the Minoans, Life in Bronze Age Crete by Rodney Castleton. I'm kind of like, I have ideas for something to write that involve the Minoans and ancient Crete, but I just, you know, I have ideas and I really struggle to put them down to the page, you know, pen to page. Really hard. This is something that Hollywood and writers should utilize more. This is such a fascinating society, and probably the first civilization that we see in Europe. I did go over to All Good Books, which this might be my new favorite bookstore in South Carolina. Very spacious, big and open. Lots of like color. I feel like there was a lot of color with the shelves. It didn't feel dark. I really, really love this store. All Good Books. It's in 5 Points in Columbia. Go there. And the first book I got, I see this book everywhere, but I wanted to get it in Columbia, and that is Uncommon Favor by Dawn Staley. The little tag is Basketball, North Philly, My Mother, and the Life Lessons I Learned from All Three. Dawn Staley, one of my favorite figures in sports. I love her so much. She is the Queen of Columbia. I've seen her win several national championships. I've been to the parades. We love Dawn Staley around here. Like, literally, what a queen. What a queen. So I cannot wait to read her book. And something that's really cool is that the back feels like a basketball, which is so cool. Like, I did not expect that at all. So I had to get this in Columbia. Also in Columbia, another one that I've seen win championships. Did I see her win one in high school? Maybe. But, in college, and and the WNBA for that matter. Dear Black Girls, How to Be True to You by Asia Wilson, at this time 3-time WNBA MVP. So Asia Wilson, again, one of my favorite athletes. I mean, can I say GOAT? Can I say GOAT? She is awesome, and I cannot wait to read this, because as I said, I've been hearing about her since like high school and then through college and now the WNBA, and South Carolina legend. The last book is a book that my cousin Jen sent me, and that is Between Sisters by Kristen Hanna. And I love Kristen Hanna's paperbacks. They are the perfect kind of paperback. Where so easy to read and carry around. Love it. This one is, I mean, obviously a story about sisters. It says they will be reunited at last, drawn by tragedy into the darkest of times, and must figure out how to face their deepest fears together or lose everything. Sounds like a high stakes story of family, and I do think that's what Kirsten Hanna does best. Those are all the books that I hauled in the month of November. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it all the way through, leave a Thanksgiving or food or fall emoji in the comments below. I hope all you Americans out there have a happy Thanksgiving. I am so thankful for everybody who checks out these videos every week, and I'm thankful that I am able to recommend books to you guys and share my love of reading, and that's not just, you know, in an echo chamber. Like, you guys, you know, comment and interact with the videos, and to me that's just so important to build community. I think community is something that's very important, and a love of reading. How can you not agree that that is awesome? So thank y'all for being here, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in my next one. Bye! If you are familiar with my videos, you're used to seeing Sherman at the end of them. Sadly, Sherman has since passed away, but I would still like to encourage you guys to help your local shelters. Sherman was at the Darlington County Humane Society in rural South Carolina. I always have their link down below in the description if you guys would like to help them, but also help your local shelters as well. You can do that by donating, sharing posts like this one, volunteering, fostering, and adopting, which it's great to do all of those things. Great to help your community, great to help the animals in your community, and I cannot recommend it enough. All of my pets were rescues, they were strays or from animal shelters, and I love them so much, and I know how much love they can give, so knowing these pets at the shelter can equally give that much love, it's amazing. And y'all should totally take part and help out those local animal shelter pets, and please help them.